So you tried multiple diets in the past and they've all failed. Why would keto be any different? Hello, Wellness Warriors. Welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. I'm Violet. The reason I make these videos is to help you to understand that when mental health and physical health are working well together, we have that overall sense of well-being. If this is something that you're working on, subscribe because I make new videos every week. Anyone who's tried the diet in their life has come across a very interesting phenomenon. When you first start a diet, you're enthusiastic and you believe that you're going to accomplish the goal, and therefore, you're willing to do whatever is necessary. So whatever the diet says to do, you're willing to do it to lose the weight. That's why we come across people who are willing to engage diets that just don't make sense, like diets that are eating poor quality foods, or diets where maybe you're using diet pills to force your body to lose weight. And we're willing to do all of these things because we have this idea in our head that we just want to lose the weight. In the beginning, we're so enthusiastic about losing weight that we're going to do whatever we're asked to do until we can no longer accomplish it. So depending on how extreme the diet is, you're going to keep pushing forward because you just want to lose weight. So, for example, if it's some kind of calorie restriction diet, if the restriction isn't horrible, you'll probably last longer in that kind of diet, although you won't be necessarily happy with what you're eating. But on a diet where the restriction is either much more intense or that you're eating things that you really don't enjoy eating, or where you have to do excessive amounts of exercise, or all the different things that we do when we're dieting, in those scenarios, you might only last a few days. And so what's likely to happen when you're no longer doing the diet? You go back to eating normally. And if we go back to eating normally, usually if we have lost any weight, we regain whatever weight we would have lost. And the reason that this happens is very basic. The foods that we eat on the standard American, standard Canadian, standard Caribbean diet are not healthy and actually push us to gain weight. Now, we've seen this pattern repeat with ourselves, with our friends, with our family, and it really has led us all to believe that dieting just doesn't work. And I know for myself, for years, I was resigned to this idea that I will just live out the rest of my life at the plus 70 pounds that I was at because dieting doesn't work. And I was believing that because dieting doesn't work, I just need to accept that this is how Violet will look. Now, to be fair, I did accept it. And what did I do as soon as I accepted it? I started to do my activities. And I did them all, and I did them with intensity and vigor. And I just decided that I'm going to live my life and I'm going to have fun and I'm going to do the things that I love to do, regardless of the weight that I am walking around. And I really did think that I would just do this until my body couldn't manage it any longer. Well, guess what? That actually began to play itself out. And I got to a point where my body was not reacting as I wanted. So I started to have a hip issue. At 46 years old, I was no longer able to do any activities. I was done. And even worse than that, I couldn't climb stairs. I couldn't walk up any type of incline. Like stepping onto the curb was hard. I could not sit in a chair cross-legged for more than 40 minutes. Sit in the chair, period, for more than 40 minutes. Excruciating pain. I want you to keep it in mind. This is coming from a person who, from 20-something till 46, lived every single day with knee pain, back pain, elbow pain. Like every joint in my body had pain, neck pain, every joint. That there were occasions where I woke up and I just couldn't turn my head. This was a normal occurrence for me. Like I would say once every 5 to 10 months that would happen. That I would play a sport and the next day, like it'd be sore, have to take a few days off before I could go do it again. And that was my routine. So for me to say excruciating pain that I was not able to do the sport or just walk, I want you guys to understand that I had gotten very used to living in pain and just doing stuff anyway. Why is that important for you to know? This was the first time that pain had ever actually just halted my life completely, where I was looking at it and trying to do the normal things that I usually do to solve. I tried to lose weight, first of all, just to put that on the table, for I don't even know how many months, and it didn't work, obviously, because I was still eating the same foods that I was eating before, just less. So I tried to lose weight. I was walking like miles every day. That was the only thing that gave me a slight amount of ease of the pain. It didn't take it away, but it made it so that I could sit for more than 40 minutes at a time for about a few hours at a time, and then I would be in pain. So my mornings were going better till mid-afternoon, and then by mid-afternoon till the rest of my evening, terrible. But it was a step in the right direction, and it helped me to understand that there might have been something that I could do to solve this. And we do all of this, I'm saying to you with the understanding that I do not like taking medication. I do not want to ingest anything unless, like anything chemical. I would almost say I'm afraid of it. And I'm horribly afraid of having an operation. So the idea that the only solution that was going to solve my hip was either an operation or taking medication for the rest of my life, because that's what I was seeing in my future, scared me no end. Yes, I'm actually that person that will have a headache and rather go to sleep than take Tylenol. That's me. So this was not a fun place for me to be in at that moment. The walking made me start to believe that there might have been something I could do. So I started to do some research on how to heal, solve hip pain. I figured out in my research that likely the pain I was having from the descriptions I was seeing online seemed like it was an inflammation issue. So of course, then I started to search, well, how do you solve inflammation? And I can tell you that I was shocked to learn that carbohydrates cause inflammation. And so here's the thing. I read that piece of information, did a month's worth of research, not just online research, but actually going to medical, like doctors, and also verifying with studies on that I could research, and realize that, oh my gosh, it's true. Carbohydrates cause inflammation. And a month after learning that information, a month and a few weeks after learning that information in April, I just decided, okay, since it seems to be true, no more carbs. Well, I did 20 grams of carbs or less. And what happened? A month and a half later, the pain was gone. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. Because I understood that what I was trying to accomplish was to heal my hip forever, and because what I learned seemed to indicate that eating carbohydrates causes inflammation, it became very obvious to me that the solution that I was putting in front of myself was a forever solution. I am not able to eat carbohydrates because if I eat carbohydrates, I will again have inflammation. And if I again have inflammation, my hip will hurt. Now, here's what's interesting, guys. Um, when I solved my hip issue, I solved all my inflammation issues. My knees weren't hurting anymore. My elbows weren't hurting anymore. My shoulders, my neck, my back. It solved all of my inflammation issues. And I didn't know that these other things were inflammation issues, by the way. I thought that my knee issues was from a few falls that I had skiing, and I thought my back issue again was from a few falls that I had skiing. I had put reasons on all of these things that were happening in my body, because that's what we do, right? That's a psychological element, something that we do. If there's a problem and we can see a reasonable link to that problem, we link them together. Does that mean that that was really the answer? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. In this particular case, I had given every ache and pain that I have in my body the reason of A, being overweight, and B, having gotten a sports injury. And then all of a sudden, changing my food, that sports injury was no longer, those sports injuries were no longer affecting me 20 years later. Why do most people fail at their healthy ketogenic lifestyle? Most people fail at their healthy ketogenic lifestyle because they're treating it like a diet, like a temporary thing that they're going to do to lose weight, because when they hit that magic number, right? I lost my 70 pounds, yay! I can go back to eating normally because I'm at normal weight. The reason that I have not regained my weight is because I always have it in my head that eating those carbohydrates are going to cause me to be in pain. And it's not even that I have it in my head, I've lived the experience. I've lived the experience of overeating nuts. I've lived the experience of eating a piece of potato that put me over my numbers. I've actually lived the experience. Now I've since learned that I have other food issues, but the part where carbohydrates are still triggering inflammation, which still lead me to be in pain, is still there. And so therefore, I do not eat more than 20 grams of carb ever. And often I eat much, much less than 20. If I would have been looking at keto as a diet, or if I was looking at the solution to be stop the pain right now, a month and a half into doing my ketogenic lifestyle, I would have stopped. And then I would have yo-yoed in and out and in and out of keto, because I would have eaten normally until my pain came back. And then I would have gone back to keto and waited till my pain went away, which didn't take long. It took a month and a half, right? And then I would have eaten normally again, and I would have been back in pain. And I would have been living a life of yo-yo dieting for my pain, which would have still led to me to have weight issues, because I never would have gotten my food completely under control. Now, and this is where for me, it didn't change, because once I got my pain under control, that was my reason to keep going forward, eating healthy. But for so many people, the goal you have is a number on the scale. And so what happens? You get to that number on the scale and you go back to eating a standard diet and you regain the weight, typically regaining the weight plus more weight. And then we're on that loop. The difference being your loop takes longer to hit than my loop. When I eat too many grams of carbs, I feel it within hours. When most people eat too many grams of carbs, it takes weeks, if not months, for them to gain enough weight for them to notice it in the mirror. And there's where the problem comes from. What's super interesting to me, the part of the story that I find frustrating, because all the people that talk about keto know this, but I feel like we don't scream it from the rooftops enough, is that the only reason that I'm able to maintain my weight is because what I want to do is keep my hip from hurting me. And I figured out I have to eat low carb in order for my hip to not hurt. Weirdly enough, although we all know that eating low carb is what allows us to lose weight, for some reason, we don't understand that it's more than losing weight. When we eat healthy, then our body is able to keep us at a healthy weight. And eating healthy means not putting excessive poisonous carbs in my system that are causing me to have inflammation, that are causing me to move towards diabetes, that are causing me to move towards PCOS, that are causing me to move towards heart disease, that are causing me to move towards Alzheimer's and dementia, that are causing me to have so many metabolic issues that I don't need to have if I eat healthy. And if I'm not having those metabolic issues, what does my body do? Regulates my weight. So in fact, what I'm really trying to help everybody to know and understand and really think about on a daily basis is that if what you're trying to accomplish is being at a good weight for the rest of your life, then what you need to also focus on is being healthy for the rest of your life. And at that point, keto is not just a diet. Keto is a healthy way of eating that you will do forever. Eating carbohydrates causes weight gain and a decline in health. Eating a healthy ketogenic lifestyle causes better health. There are some videos right here that are going to help you to improve both your mental and physical health. Check out the description below and you'll see some ways that you can help to support the channel. I love talking to my wellness warriors as always. New people, welcome. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. Can't wait to talk to you guys in the next video.